Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
I don't know if he'll be available. I don't. Last week we tempered some things with him in practice, and he felt pretty good. As the game got started, he couldn't go. That's Adrian, the medical people, and our trainers, and luckily we had Will Howard.
The Big 12 is deeper than the SEC this year as far as quality football teams. I would not debate that, but the Big 12 does not have a Georgia. They do not have a Tennessee. They do not have an Alabama as of right now. TCU potentially could get there.
I think it's probably Oregon, and what's so interesting about Oregon is that after they were shellacked by Georgia on the opening weekend, we just wrote them off as a disaster.
So rookie pass rusher George Karlaftis, he's going to have to step up. Carlos Dunlap, the veteran, they're going to need some more from him as well, and Mike Dana and some other guys to get after the passer in those two games without Frank Clark.
Even if this was a situation where a team might be prone to fire a coach who seems like he's in over his head, this is an ownership group that, to an extent, is in over its head.
We're literally talking on shows all day long about, are the Bucks done? Are the Packers done? This is not what you're seeing. Brady look 45, which is not what we're used to seeing. And Aaron, besides the hair, we're not seeing a lot of good things coming out of Green Bay, right?
And that's all we got. The missile did not launch.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot it. Anyway, I'll show you that when you come back. Something you got to learn before you put it in the silo.
Okay. Thank you.
I just did it. Welcome to Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town, coming to you from the Mayo Money Management Studio. It's a Hump Day show. Steve Webster, along with Mike Courson and Mike Hesher here on the program.
What's up, man?
How you doing? I'm trying to get all up pumped over here, and I get the deep thinker on that side. I can't wait to get into Courson's mind here on the program today.
Rode in is in-house.
In-house, okay. On the show today, Stafford football coach Mitch Engelken. Well, won't talk about Baileyville B&B. Well, we might a little bit.
You are fascinated by Bailey.
I want a scouting report on Nemaha Central, so yeah, that might be the way to do it.
Chet Copeland can give you a scouting report on Nemaha Central.
Not better than a Baileyville B&B guy.
Okay, well,
okay, yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Maybe it's just Baileyville B. I don't know. Voice the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock's going to join us here on the program. So,
want your obscure fact of the day about Nemaha?
I would love an obscure fact about Nemaha.
I think there was 2 Connor Dieters down there, one with 1 N and one with 2 N's, and I misspelled one of them's name per your segment yesterday, and I got an email about it. I'm like, this is a 3A school with 2 kids with the same name. One doesn't do sports and one does.
What's the one that doesn't do sports? What does he do? He in drama, music?
I didn't deep dive that one.
Okay, I just wanted to know. I'm going to get the full report. So there's 2 Dieters named with the first name.
I think so.
Okay, all right, very good. That's not.
Told you it was obscure.
That's obscure. That is odd.
That's something that no one else knew, and now everybody in Central Kansas knows all about it. Yeah. That's what you bring to the show every day. I love it. So, all right, you ready to get the sounds of the past 24 hours or so? You know, once the NBA season starts,
I'm not sure what the NBA is. I don't pay attention to it.
Okay, well, I had an NBA highlight.
Okay,
but it didn't play. So
I wonder why.
Well, anyway,
it's like the NBA players; they don't play.
All right, sounds the past 24 hours or so. Chris Kleiman at his Tuesday press conference yesterday. It's kind of interesting to hear Chris Kleiman talk about his quarterback situation compared to Lance Leipold, because Lance Leipold starts his press conference by saying, "Jalen Daniels did not practice, and that's all I'm going to talk about." Chris Kleiman says, I don't know if he's going to play or not. You know, we hope so. Talking about Adrian Martinez, Cats get Oklahoma State. Cats a little banged up now, having a quarterback issue like a lot of teams in the Big 12. Man, it's been a bad year for quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel was down. Jalen Daniels still out. Quinn Evers of Texas Tech's quarterback, and now Adrian Martinez. So, is Martinez going to play, and is it a big deal if he doesn't?
Oklahoma State's high flying. We need a high flying quarterback guy. I'm not counting out Rubley just yet. Put him in against that defense.
You've been on him all year long, so I'm gonna be spidey the fact he threw an interception in that first game. That's in his first pass.
Yeah, first play
of his career. But
he was 4 for 4 the first game of the year.
Okay, sorry.
K-State beats Oklahoma State 60-50 if Rubley plays. No defense.
I'm digging for some money. We're going to play some bets.
The winner of this game is obviously going to be, they're still going to be in the conference hunt, but also it's going to move them a little bit closer to playing in the Big 12 championship game. Yeah, big game coming up on Saturday in Manhattan, 2:30 kick on Fox.
I'm still not sure TCU's the best team in the league, which is scary, but we're beating each other up. We're falling out of the rankings, and it's only hurting the Big 12.
There's that Kubelik fella. Well, okay, we'll get to him in just a moment. Other games in the conference, Oklahoma at Iowa State. 11 a.m. kick on FS1. And Baylor's at Texas Tech, 6:30. That's on ESPN2. And at 11 a.m., it's TCU at West Virginia. They've beaten 4 straight top 25 teams. Now they get West Virginia, who's coming off a 48-10 thrashing last week to Texas Tech. Now we get to Cole Kubelik, SEC Network. That's kind of interesting. He's giving the fact that the Big 12 has more depth in the league, but he's also saying that they don't have Alabama, they don't have Tennessee.
Maybe it's more depth, but
and they don't have Georgia.
SEC's definitely top heavy. I don't think I could pick TCU against any of those 3 schools.
He thought that TCU is a little bit undervalued right now. But again, we get back into the let's see, Wednesday, Tuesday. That was Monday. Okay, you were here for the Kellogg's cornflakes talk. Oh, you weren't. Okay, I'm just saying, if you do, I need to go through it again because I don't think, if you have Kellogg's and Post that you're choosing to buy, are you going to buy great value? TCU's kind of a great value team. It all counts, but brand name awareness. I think
they get soggy faster. But TCU, they would get soggy, then they would get unsoggy. They come out flat, and they come out in the second half and pound teams.
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think they're. I think there's going to be 3 teams from the SEC, probably those 3 teams I just mentioned, and with Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama wins the SEC, and you're going to have Ohio State, and there you go. So
wouldn't argue that whatsoever.
I'm hoping Alabama doesn't win the SEC to open the door for one more at large. And they're not behind the wheel, so it's not a given, but you probably don't want to play them twice.
No. So, yeah, college football's like, are there bowl games this year? By the way, I haven't really paid it to. Bowl season's not my most exciting time of year.
Well, when half the teams make a bowl game, yes.
Well, I don't know. They keep weaseling them down after the pandemic. So, Paul Feinbaum. They're just looking for things to talk about because is there another team that maybe could – and he came up with Oregon, who got beat by 5 touchdowns by Georgia to start the season. But they've improved.
I didn't think he was allowed on this show.
Feinbaum?
Yeah.
Oh, no. He's the guy.
Okay.
You don't like Feinbaum?
He's actually pretty funny, but he's SEC, so...
The best thing is, it's the best television around, is to watch the SEC network if they don't win the national championship.
Now, what happens when Texas...
Cooter from Boonville calls in and, I tell you what, Feinbaum, I did... No, Paul Feinbaum, yeah, he's... But what he says is, he just says what he feels, and most of the time it's accurate. Anyway, to say Oregon is your other team, and Michigan's going to start getting some love. They'll probably run the table, go undefeated, and then they play Ohio State, and that's going to be probably your
4th team. Yep.
Mike Garofalo from the NFL Network talking about who's going to have to step up now that Frank Clark is going to miss the next 2 games for his 2 counts of misdemeanor possession of an assault weapon in Los Angeles. That was actually a second one because the first one he's in with a guy that didn't have a license plate, on his car. Who you running around with, Frank? And then he got caught again. So if he was in a Russian prison, I would not be calling him out either because it's just common sense, right?
It goes back to my point. I'm going to start a business. What do we want? $60,000 a year to drive these athletes around. No DUIs, none of these problems, and still get paid.
They would find a way to get into trouble.
They wouldn't pay it. They would drink and drive over paying my service. We're very discreet.
Would Frank be a subscriber then? There's
just been so many of them, and it's like, if only there were services for that.
So the good thing is it's the next two, both games are at home. Tennessee, everyone thought that, of course, they were going to be a contender in all these teams. The Chiefs' schedule looked so difficult, and now some of these teams that are falling off, it's not quite as tough right now. Jeff Darlington, ESPN, will they fire Nathaniel Hackett before the season's over? He doesn't think so because the Walton Penner Group doesn't want to say that maybe we made the wrong hire at coach.
They didn't make the hire. It was the GM. Because the ownership group had not taken over when they hired
according to Jeff Darlington, it's a new group. They're going to give him some time.
Is this the same group that owns all the checkouts? There was your segment yesterday. Why am I an employee when I go to the store? So I don't have a whole lot of faith in them to make.
Well, if you bring in offensive coaches that, again, are supposed to be offensive gurus, and you have the worst offense in the league paired with maybe the best defense in the league, it's tough. But again, like so many teams right now, it's blame the coach, don't blame the quarterback right now. Russell Wilson's been awful. But he will be back Sunday against Jacksonville. That game's going to be in London. That's a tricky game.
Okay, did they confirm he was going to be back? He says he's ready to roll, but I did not.
He intends to play against Jackson.
But that's not Nathaniel Hackett saying he's going to play.
If you were Nathaniel Hackett and your house is burning down, you want ripping? I
don't want either one of them.
It is, like I said this morning, I don't think it's panic time yet, but what if you're Denver? And I think I said this before, but all you need is a quarterback. That's what they've needed the last 4 or 5, 6 years that they've missed the playoffs. They just need a quarterback, right, to fit in. What if Russell Wilson's not it?
They have a problem.
I just can't.
Because it's a 5-year deal. I mean, they're going to eat a lot of money if he doesn't come around.
If he does, that's one of those decisions you make that can set your franchise
back. Yep,
for a few years. Cousin Darren will not take my phone calls right now. But the call I got a week ago during the Denver game.
Well, my Denver person has given up on them as well.
I just can't. I refuse to believe that the Broncos are not going to turn it around.
I do, too. I think they'll be there in the end. I think they'll beat the Chiefs in one of their games.
Get your wallet back.
Well, Dr. Doom, you have to. You're still trying to get the Chiefs to 7 losses. Kimberly Martin, NFL insider. Who would have thought the Packers and the Bucs would be stinking right now?
Tom Brady is looking his age at this point. There's some talk he may retire during the season.
Okay, so he announced his retirement, right?
Right.
Don't you check out at that time a little bit, and then you go down and what people have said he missed training camp to go down and get a facelift. That's not engagement.
He's got a lot of personal stuff going on. His whole reputation was built on his work ethic, so he doesn't go to the walkthrough or whatever it was the other day, goes up to see his former owner marry.
Well, that was Robert Kraft's wedding.
Didn't get back. He didn't come back. He could have got back. He has. So it does seem like he's thrown in the towel. There was an interesting stat yesterday that Bill Belichick has a massive winning record with Brady. He's actually got a losing record without Brady. So we give Bill Belichick. We give him all the credit for being a great coach, but once again, he was playing with the best quarterback.
Maybe the best quarterback doesn't become the best quarterback without playing for the best coach.
But then he proved that wrong by going to Tampa and winning a Super Bowl.
okay, well, look at the surrounding players that he had with him. Maybe that's the reason Tom Brady went the other way. Don't tell me that.
Right, but look
that
at
Uncle
Russell
Bill's
Wilson.
No, are you saying that Belichick's not a good coach? He just fell into the right.
He's a system coach. No, I don't like the guy, so I want to find it's confirmation bias. But look at Russell Wilson. I did think he was a good quarterback in Seattle, and man, he is flatlined. So is that the people around him, or is it him? I don't. That's what I'm curious about with that situation. Is I keep waiting for him to turn the page. So what's holding him back? What's the difference?
Maybe he does not age as well. Maybe he's taking more hits than Tom Brady. That's one of the things when you start looking at some of these quarterbacks that can run and use their legs. How long are they going to stay around? Josh Allen, he takes a lot of hits, even though he's a big guy.
Valid point, Steve.
Yeah, they compare him to the Carolina quarterback.
Cam Newton.
Yes, thank you. He went off the radar pretty quick, too.
Patrick goes out of bounds and slides, so does he go.
Tell you who I like, old Heineke down in Washington. He's a scrapper.
How about the Commanders? Great lead-in. We'll have the Commanders game coming up on Sunday here on KVG.
Will we really?
NFL football, yeah.
All right.
World Series taking a night off. And they're playing Indianapolis, who will be starting a new quarterback as well. So
I missed the show yesterday. Breece Hall getting a mention?
we did mention that that's too bad.
Just on pace for maybe Offensive Rookie of the Year and breaking a big run every game and poof.
Yeah, and he broke a big run in that game.
Yeah, before he went out.
Yeah, before he went out. Okay. What else you want to talk about? Well, how about your trip to Larned yesterday or last night?
It was...
You didn't have any food left.
It was informative. Well, they took it all. By the time I decided I think I could have lunch, it was gone. But no, it was very informative. I thank Julie Munden and the group I was with. Had a lot to
You're on the advisory council.
It is the audio-visual portion of the advisory committee is what I figured out last night, yes.
Wow.
And we have a gentleman coming in at 2 o'clock today who's going to try to help us get onto live streaming.
And
no pressure on him, and you're not going to hold me to anything.
No, I like this specialist that we're bringing in at 2 o'clock today.
All right. He knows what he's talking about. Whether he can get us through it, we don't know. But it's more of me and not him.
Okay, all right. Coming up, we will talk Stafford football. Head coach Mitch Engelken.
He has a tough name.
It's just, once you get it rolling off, it works okay. Gerard Wellbrock coming up, and a segment that we don't know yet. So stay tuned. That'll be exciting. Here on Sports Day on KVGB.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KVG, a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in Central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
Eagle Tire, the place to be today. Shopping over the holidays, $10,000 shopping spree for Mater Plumbing, Heating, and Air, your Brian dealer, and Bauer Computers. Scott Donovan here at the corner of 10th and Main with Sean and Great Bend. And hey, Sean, you're still wearing shorts, but that's going to change sometime, isn't it, man?
I don't know. Maybe not.
We're going to get winter here sometime, and folks have to be thinking about new tread on their tires.
You know, if you come down, we can take a look at your tires and see if you got enough tread for the winter months. Just keep in mind that the tires keep going up in price, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down.
Okay,
so the earlier the better. And you guys do offer a wide variety. That's one thing about being an independent dealer. You're going to get the right tire for the right vehicle. That's always a big deal, especially with the winter months coming up. You don't want to have the wrong tire tread on your vehicle. Probably not a bad idea to do a little tire rotation on your next oil change as well, huh? You buy your 4 tires with us here. We offer a free rotate for the life of the tire and 2 free balances per year. Bring it on. I love it. Get all the details at Eagle Tire, the place to be today. Shopping over the holidays. $10,000 shopping spree. Good luck.
Venture Corporation is now hiring for a CDL tanker operator driver. We'll operate the same truck all week. New higher wages with flexible hours, no weekends, and time and a half over 40 hours. Blue Cross and Blue Shield health insurance, vision insurance, Section 125 cafeteria plan, 401k retirement plan with match. Venture Corporation is an equal opportunity employer. Women and minorities encouraged. Apply in person at 214 South Highway 281 in Great Bend. Online at venturecorpks.com or call Leslie at Venture Corporation. Homegrown, family owned.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Day here on KVGB, and it's time to talk Stafford Trojans football as Mitch Engelken is back with us here on the program. Coach, I appreciate you being here today. Did you have a chance to ask anybody about the trees that according to myself, but that's a long time ago, that used to be on the south side of the football field there in Stafford?
Yep, I didn't ask anybody, I guess, but there are still a bunch of trees. I can see them right now. They have like a huge shelter belt wall there.
Yeah, okay.
It takes away the wind for sure. It's pretty nice, yeah.
Okay, all right. That just goes back in the days. Heck, that shows you what I know, because last time I was down there, I think, well, them trees aren't there the way they used to be, but because the track was right under. Anyway, I regress. Coach Mitch Engelken with us here on the program. His team 8-0. They start the first round of postseason play coming up on Friday night. They'll be taking on the Buckland Red Aces. Tell me about that game on Friday. What a battle you had with Kinsley. Eventually, you end up prevailing in that game. You win it by 4 to finish an unbeaten regular season. But what a game Friday, Mitch.
Yeah, it was a great game. We knew Kinsley was going to be a good team. They only had 3 losses prior to that, and I think they lost fairly early in the season. But I think all of their games had been losses to teams that were either undefeated or South Barbara, who we had just beaten, and we knew they were pretty good. And so, yeah, they were a really good team, physical team. I mean, we left, unfortunately, in the first half, we kind of left some points off the board. We had a couple chances, probably could have had a bigger lead at half. But that's what happens in those good teams. Those teams are going to find a way to make stops and make it a game. And luckily, though, towards the end, we kind of tightened up on D and were able to score a few more and came away with the win. And like I've been telling our guys all year, excuse me, is those good type of teams, I mean, you just got to find a way. Don't worry about the scoreboard. In the end, it'll all work out if you just, hang on to it and keep working. So, yeah, we were able to come out with another win, which is awesome. So
you went to the fourth quarter, Mitch, down 28-24. Did they extend that, or did you get the lead back? Kind of tell me how that fourth quarter went.
Yeah, it was 28-24, and then early there in the fourth, they scored again to extend it to 34-24. And luckily, we held them on the 2-point conversion. And I always tell our guys that. I mean, don't hang your head, because that 2-point conversion could be, deciding factor in the game if we don't get a stop, and it could be a momentum builder in the other way. So we got the stop there, and then luckily we made a few long passes there in the fourth and got the lead back, 38-34, and then had a huge 4th down and 1 stop that kind of decided the game. We were able to run out the clock, and so yeah, again, just great leadership on our side, on our seniors, pulling everybody together and not letting people put their heads down when we had when we trail in the fourth quarter, and then just playing our game and finding a way to win at the end. So
tell me about that 4th down play. Where was it on the field? And talk about that play that decided the game, it sounds like.
Well, we don't typically kick the ball deep very often after we score on a kickoff. Just for whatever reason, our personnel, we don't necessarily have anybody that can kick it real deep. And so we do some onside every once in a while where we squib kick it quite a bit. And we actually didn't mind that because we know they were running the ball really well, and we're going to run the clock off no matter what they did. Offensively, they were going to run the ball. And so we gave them the ball probably at their own 35, just past midfield. and then they continued to run. And luckily, we called a couple blitzes, and they worked out. And we held them for 4th down and 1, probably like right around our 35, 34-yard line, wherever it was. And what we did was we were expecting a quarterback sneak, which it was, and we kind of just put 2 D tackles there right on front of or on the center, lined them up, and we got the low push and were able to stop them. And, yeah, it was definitely a huge turning point.
They're up by 10, Mitch, so you come over, and, of course, you're getting ready to receive the next kick. I think you went over it with kind of what you covered, but because you're over there, your unbeaten season is on the line at that point. That's game time right there. Kind of talk about when you had the players surrounded before you go out and receive that kick down by 10.
Oh, yeah. For the most part, and unfortunately or fortunately, whatever way you look at it, we've been in that situation a few times this year. We've been down 18-0 to Skyline in the second game of the year, and then we were down, I think it was 28-16 in 22-14 in a similar situation in the third quarter at Central Christian early in the year too. And so anyways, we found ourselves, for good or worse or whatever, on that side of the score a few times, and we just say the same thing, next play mentality. Don't let that last play affect you, Stay positive, stay the course, just keep doing what we're doing, and then execute on offense, and we'll be fine. We'll get a stop eventually. And luckily, and that's 2 weeks in a row, in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes or less to go, we've been down 10. Against South Barbara, we were in the same situation, and we were able to rattle off 3 stops in a row, and we scored 24 straight, and kind of a similar situation there. We scored 14 straight against Kinsley. So, and both games, very good games, very good teams, and just found a way to win in the end. And like I said, that's what good teams do. I've been telling our boys and our girl. We have a girl on the team. I always say boys, but been telling our team that all year. Good teams find a way to win. Just stay positive and keep going. So,
what was the bus ride like back from the field over to the school to the locker room?
Well, it was pretty good for the most part. Unfortunately, we did have a kid get hurt in the game, hurt his leg, and he's got to go get checked out even more now. But he did break a bone, and so he'll be done, but he might have to get surgery. That was freshman Dylan Brozick. But other than that, it was pretty positive, and I was telling our coaches that, even if we'd lost that game by 10 points, we would have still had the moral victory of being district champs due to the point system. Mm-hmm. But that wouldn't have been necessarily as positive, of a district championship. So we were able to pull it out, and it was a good time to celebrate. But at the same time, we knew we don't want to be finished yet. We want to continue our season for quite a bit longer. So we're preparing and trying to get ready for Buckland, which is actually going to be on Thursday. So it'll be. It
is going to be on Thursday. Okay, all right.
Yep.
It's hard.
Yep. So we're getting ready for Thursday.
Okay, so Thursday, I will change that on Great Bend Post. I saw it on it. Yeah. Friday, Thursday games at this time of year, so appreciate that update. Yeah, Thursday night, 7 o'clock. You mentioned your coaches, your first year at Stafford. Tell me about your coaching staff.
Yeah, we have a great coaching staff. It's the first time I've been coaching 8-man in high school football now this is my 7th year, and of course I grew up playing 8-man football in junior high and high school at Baileyville, and I never once had in all the years, more than 3 coaches on a single 8-man coaching staff. And we actually have 4, including myself, so I have 3 assistants. And I don't thank them enough, for sure. I was an assistant for up to 6 years prior to this, and so I know all the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on, and they do a great job. And luckily for me also, they were all here for multiple years prior to me. So it was an easy transition for me to get to know the players and really understand all of their, strengths and weaknesses, just because these coaches have seen them and coached them for multiple years prior to me coming. And another thing is Coach Lowther was a previous head coach here before even Coach Bauman. And so he's been around here in the area, and he knows the kids and some of the families. And so it's just a great group of assistant coaches that I have. And, yeah, I really love all the help that they give me and all just everything that they do for me. So I definitely don't thank them enough, but they are a great group of guys.
What's the community support been like? You got an 8-0 team headed to the playoffs Thursday night, tomorrow night.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be the AD's fault if he didn't get that information. No, I'm just kidding. That was for me. Yeah, I've been struggling trying to balance being coaching football and staying on top of AD stuff. But no, I forget your question already.
What's the community been
the
like?
community support. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been great. I don't know a lot of people here, unfortunately, still. I'm meeting so many new people after games coming up and saying, hey, great game, and keep it going and all this and that. And because I don't live here. I live in Ellenwood, unfortunately, but hopefully going to be able to move here before too long. But, no, it's been great support because, like you said, an 8-0 team, I think this is the 4th undefeated regular season in school history, going back to the records I can find online. I don't know how accurate they all are, but I think the first ever undefeated season was like 1909. But anyways, this will be the second home playoff game, according to records again, not 100% accurate or know exactly if they're accurate, but the second home playoff game since 2018 and the second ever, according to those online records. So it'll be a really big game on Thursday, just like it always is every week. I tell our guys, this is the only game we have this week, so it's a big game. Got to take it serious and prep and be ready to go. And so, yeah, it should be a packed house on Thursday, and should be a lot of fun, and hoping we can keep going.
Yeah, and Jim Azunisgrape in Tribune were talking yesterday, and all he could find was that Stafford just has one playoff win in their history.
Yep, and that was that same year, 2018, I believe, and that was after the expansion of the 6 and 7-team districts where 4 go to the playoffs. And so I think they got the 2 seed that year and got to host a 3 seed, and they won, and then they had to go down and play South Barbara, I believe it was, and then they lost in the second round. But yeah, not a whole lot of home playoff games in Stafford High School football history, and so it should be a big one. And like I said, I'm hoping we can keep them going. So
yeah, how proud of you of your players and team, how they've grown throughout the season. I imagine it's pretty fun to be part of that and see their confidence grow as well.
Oh, no doubt. And we kind of knew, looking at our schedule, we thought, our toughest district games, unfortunately, were towards the end of the year. Kinsley and South Barbara, who every magazine and article was picking those 2 to be the top 2 and kind of used that as some motivation for our guys. But no, I've been extremely proud and happy with everything that they've done, because not only just me being a first-year new coach to them, but changing all the offensive and defensive systems and changing some guys that didn't really play a whole lot, and getting to play receiver and tight end and doing some different things for us. And no, it's been a lot of fun and really exciting, and I'm hoping it's opening the eyes for our younger guys who can step in and continue to grow, and hopefully this can change the tradition or trajectory of Stafford High School football, going forward. And that's the plan anyway. So, but
yeah, tomorrow you get Buckland. They're a team that, they were down for a long time. I mean, Buckland used to have some unbelievable teams, but that goes back a long time, because that's back when I was in college and in high school. And then last year they kind of broke through. They got the playoffs, had a nice run, and this year they're back in the playoffs again. So a team that they've got some momentum going. 5-3. Tell me about the Red Aces.
They do. They're a good team. No matter what, I tell the players again is, at this point of the season, if you're in the playoffs, then you're playing a good team. No matter what, you're going to play a team that's better than the average team because they made it to the postseason. They earned the right to continue playing. And so, like you said, they had a good year last year, I think 8-2, if I believe, and they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be excited. Again, they get a chance to come knock off the district champs, and so everybody's got to be ready to play and focused all week. And it's a quick week because we got a game tomorrow already, but we got one more day of practice, and then we'll be ready to go. But, yeah, we'll take every game serious, and I think it sinks in that much more when the boys and our girl on our team realize that this opportunity hasn't came for Stafford High School football, very often, having a home playoff game. And so we're hoping to keep it rolling and stay focused and do whatever we can to keep it going.
Yeah, they're 5-3. You look, of course, they lost to Mineola, who was undefeated until they ran into Dighton. And then Hodgman County has really improved as the season has gone along. And, of course, Dighton, they're really, really good. So, those are their 3 losses. And Central Plains is playing much better at the end of the year. They've really improved, and they put 54 on them. So that it probably shouldn't be too hard to keep your kids from overlooking these guys.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree. They've had some tough competition. Like you said, Mineola and Dighton are at the top of that district, and kind of a lopsided win for Dighton. But, yeah, like you said, Dighton's been beating everybody. And so, but, yeah, Buckland, they'll be a good team. There's no way you can go 5 wins and lose 3 games to some tough teams and not be a good team, So, again, they are very comparable to Kinsley. They're going to run the ball right at you. They have a few athletes that they'll try to throw the ball to. But overall, we just got to be disciplined and execute our game plan every play as best we can. And then if we do get behind, just know the situation. We've been there before. We just got to stay on the game plan and just overcome it, next play mentality and stay positive. So I think our guys are ready and ready to prove what they can do. And hopefully, like I said, I've said this several times, but I'm hoping we can just keep it going and keep that mindset and hopefully do something special here this year in the postseason for Stafford. So.
All right, Mitch Engelken with us here on the show. So tell me, defensively, what do they do, Mitch?
Defensively, they're kind of unique. I mean, we have a couple films on them. We've seen them, and they kind of change defenses kind of based off of how things are going for the other team's offense, I guess. But for the most part, they stick with this two-man front. It's kind of a new style in 8-man, I guess. It's a 2-4 look, kind of some cover 2 or man coverage in the back end. But we'll still attack it with the same game plan as far as what we do offensively. But hopefully, we'll just be able to get a lead early. That's the plan. Come out with a fast start and then set up our defense to be in the positive game script, favor-wise, and then see what happens, adjust as we need to throughout the game. So,
okay, take me through game day tomorrow, Coach.
Well, unfortunately for me, I guess it's a thing that's built into the school, but we have a half day of school, and so it's the afternoon classes, and actually, I take that back. It's because of we have parent-teacher conferences tomorrow in the evenings, and we kind of had to work around that, unfortunately, with the game being scheduled for Thursday. But it'll all work out. The kids will be focused on the game and looking forward to it. But no, we'll have a half a day in the morning, and then kind of do some pregame stuff with the kids, and then hopefully be ready to take the field at 7 and kick it off, and hopefully earn a playoff spot in the next round. So
that would be great. How you feeling day before big game tomorrow, Mitch?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, again, like you said, the kids have just been growing in confidence throughout the season. I think every victory and every time we've had to come from behind, it's just they've gained that much more confidence in each game. And I do think they truly believe in the game plan and the things we're doing. And because, like I said, it was a huge shift in schemes compared to their previous coaching staff. So, I mean, previous head coach, he ran a little more run-heavy stuff. We've kind of opened up the passing game a little bit. But, no, I think they're confident. I think they're ready to go and show us what they can do. And so, yep, I feel ready and confident.
All right. Hey, Mitch, thanks a lot. Good luck. And, I know that it's always good to start practicing, to end practice when it's dark, and that's what happens when you make a deep run in the playoffs. It doesn't make it fun for you to dodge deer on the way back to Ellenwood after practice. But,
no.
Yeah, so stay safe and keep practicing and having your practices end when it's dark. That means you're playing some meaningful football.
Absolutely, yeah, and when it gets really cold, when it's the end of November and Thanksgiving, you have to practice over Thanksgiving break. That's good too. So
yeah, you've done that a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple times, but it wasn't always fun. Like I was telling the kids last week or 2 weeks ago, everybody's got a big role to play no matter what. And I remember when I was a freshman in high school, our role was to make a shelter belt and keep the varsity guys warm. Yep. But no, yeah, we'll hopefully be done before dark so I can have a safe trip back. Because yes, there are deer there on that road every day. I see 3 to 4 a day. I bet. But.
Yeah, just put a big spear on the front. I don't know, but drive safe. Good luck tomorrow night, and we'll be watching, and hopefully you guys come away with a win.
Yep, hopefully. Thank you again, and thanks for having me, and love what you're doing, and love listening to you guys on the radio. So,
hey, I sure appreciate that, Mitch. Okay, Mitch Engelken with us here on Sports Day. Gerard Wellbrock, voice of the Tigers, coming up next.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
I am Joanne Roth, the Democratic nominee for state representative. The incumbent voted for Senate Bill 13, the revenue-neutral law. Now taxpayer dollars are being wasted in every county to send a confusing notice. I would have listened to local officials and voted differently. Now you have a chance to vote Roth.
Paid for by Joanne Roth for State Representative, Kent Roth, Treasurer.
We have smartphones, smart cars, even smart thermostats. But how smart is the furnace it's connected to? Steeder Contractors is proud to install Lennox furnaces, smartly engineered to be the quietest and most efficient furnace you can buy. And now, take advantage of the $1,000 rebate and be ready for fall and winter. Make the smart decision. Call Steeder Contractors in Great Bend and ask about the $1,000 rebate on a Lennox Total Comfort system today.
Other banks go out of their way to make redeeming credit card rewards needlessly complicated, like how they require minimums or force you to use your rewards before reaching some arbitrary expiration date. But Discover isn't like that. With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount, at any time. So you'll never have to jump through hoops. Unless you're like a trapezist, then by all means, go right ahead. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
This is Dan. Dan uses Navy Federal Credit Union to save and invest. Luckily for him, Navy Federal takes the legwork out of managing his money, which gives Dan time to work on other things, like his new auctioneering hobby. If you want to be like Dan, learn about our savings and investment options at NavyFederal.org/save and invest. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Bidder number 63.
Savings products insured by NCUA. Investment options are available through Navy Federal Investment Services and are not insured by NCUA.
Get the latest 5G devices at Nextech Wireless. Now you can get the iPhone 14 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus on us, or up to $999 off any other device. And that's not all. You can also get half off a new Apple Watch when you bring your number to us. Nextech Wireless. We are Kansas.
It's time to head to Tiger Town to talk Fort Hays State Tiger sports with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock, on Sports Day.
Welcome back to Sports Day here on KVGB. Gerard Wellbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, a guy that that everybody calls Gurr. How many R's are there after the G? I usually just...
Depends on how many times I got to change my password. See, I shouldn't have said that. Usually normally for me it's 4. It's 4.
It's 4?
I've seen it with 2, but probably 4. I think this feels about right. Any more than that, it's too much of a... So probably 4.
I usually give you a pretty good Gurr on mine because I just hit the R and hold it down.
You're an exception, so you can put more on there.
All right, well,
it's funny. I heard that open, which I appreciate. And in my pregame open Saturday, I usually don't use the word Tiger Town, but it popped out, and now I think it's from that subliminally, and then I used it.
Really? Well, I guess I feel good.
I usually don't say that, and maybe that's where I got it from.
Yeah, I think putting the growl back in Tiger Town.
Yeah.
Mix 103 FM.
There you go. Yeah, we need to bring that liner back. I like that.
Yeah, the growl is back in Tiger Town. It was back last weekend because the Tigers got a win, and that had to feel nice during a tough season.
It really did. I mean, Central Missouri struggling too, new coach and all the things that go with that. But I thought for the first time in a while, Fort Hays State played with a little edge, a little emotion, little something. I mean, they went young up front. They've made a decision to play some younger kids. There are already a lot of young kids because of injuries out there, and we've chronicled that all year. But the offensive line, they just, you know what? These guys aren't getting it done. Let's go with the freshmen. So they had a couple of true freshmen that had already played this year because of injuries. They had their 7th-year senior at left tackle, and the rest were either all true or redshirt freshmen. And they made some mistakes, but I thought they really battled and fought and kind of figured it out. And as the game went on, you could tell they were adjusting to the game speed, and I thought did a good job. Tigers ran for over 200 yards. Some of that was on a couple of big runs by their quarterback scrambling, but it all counts. And when they run for 200 or more, They won 20 straight. I think they're like 36-3 now under Chris Brown when rushing for over 200 yards. So that's usually a good combination. But it did feel good. They played well, and hopefully they can use that to build a little bit of momentum here for the final three.
Well, you final three right now, and you're looking down, what's coming up for the Tigers here. Let's see. You've got Emporia. At Emporia, you have Northeastern in Hayes, and then you go to Pittsburgh State. So,
yeah, and Emporia, they're 9 points away from being undefeated.
Wow.
I mean, they lose by 8 at UCO early, and we're probably still trying to find themselves. Lose by 1 at home to Pitt earlier this year. They're playing well, and they're good offensively. It's fast break football. I mean, that ball's spotted and they're ready to go, so it makes it hard to sub. And then they'll slow you down, and then they'll go up tempo again, and they've got a really good athletic defense. So, you could maybe make the argument they're the best team in the league. We haven't seen Pitt. We will in a few weeks, but they're right up there, and they're playing for their playoff lives. Because Division II and all their brilliance, they don't give you a regional ranking. They just list 10 teams that are being considered for the regional. So I don't know where Emporia sits in that mix, but they're one of the 10. They're pretty high on the list because they're E. It's all listed alphabetically.
So there's no rankings?
It's the teams being considered. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well,
but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. And I haven't explored why they're doing this. Maybe we don't want to hurt the feelings of 9 and 10 because they're not in the top 8. I don't know, but yeah, they just list you in alphabetical. They're doing it in other sports, so I'm sure they'll do it in basketball. And the fact 4 days is not in the picture, I haven't pursued why, but they're in the top 10. So they're with 2 losses. The projections I've seen, they were not in the top 8. So the MIAA right now is going to get one of the postseason. So they're playing for their playoff lives, so every game's huge for Emporia, so they're going to be highly motivated, and it's a rivalry game, but I think 4 days will come out and give a good effort. We'll see if it's good enough.
One team from the MIAA, is that accurate?
Right now, I think if Emporia can win out...
Gerard Wellbrock, the respected national voter, so... We've talked about it before. The balance in the league probably hurts this league a little bit, but
it does, yeah.
But who are they?
They don't play, and then they're in with the, Ferris State, unfortunately, and Grand Valley State are in your region.
Yeah.
Well, they were 1 and 2, and so when I first saw the region, I thought, how is Ferris State 4th? And then, it's alphabetical. I mean, they're Grand Valley and Pitt are probably 1 and 2. I'm guessing Grand Valley's 1 just because they beat Ferris, the defending champions, who was number 1 in the country at the time. But yeah, it's probably the toughest region in the country, and that doesn't help either. There'll be some regions that 3-loss teams will make it, and there'll probably be a bunch of 2-loss teams that don't get in this region. For whatever reason, it seems like 4 days gets aligned in the toughest regions in the country every year. It's been that way in basketball, and it's certainly that way in football, I think.
Okay, so that's going to be Saturday. 2 o'clock game. You get back into the afternoon games here at the end of the season, and then a final home game coming up on November 5th against Northeastern State out of Tahlequah. All right, I asked you when we hooked up today, is you ready for the transition time? Because now it gets really busy. We've got basketball starting at the same time. Heck, you've got a game at Kansas State on Monday night for the Lady Tigers.
Yeah, that kind of just, it's one of those, it's there, and then you look at the calendar, it's like, wow, it's like really there. So yeah, it'll be an interesting test. I mean, Fort Hays has got a lot of numbers back. I think they got 9 from last year's team that made it to the regional final, but you look at who they lose, and you lose a generational type player in your point guard. So that's a big question mark. How will they play? That's a pretty key role. But, I think they're going to be pretty good. They brought in a couple Division I transfers from Nebraska and Bradley. They weren't frontline players, but they still played. One of them they recruited out of high school. But probably the deepest team Tony's had, I think, or at least potentially. That might be his biggest challenge, is figuring out everybody's role and keeping everybody happy with minutes. Because I was starting to work on my score sheet, and usually you can who to leave on at the very bottom. We're probably going to play much, and it's like, I don't know who to leave down. I mean, there's 12, 13 deep, and so that'll be the biggest challenge, I think. And then obviously they do return their backup point guard who got some solid minutes, and she's coming off a knee injury in Sydney Galladay, so I think they'll be okay there. But their schedule, as of right now, and it'll change as the season goes, but Division II has like a power rankings. It's the number one schedule in the country, and it's not even close. They're going to open with West Texas A&M and Kansas City a week from Saturday. They were a Final Four team. Southern Nazarene is on Sunday. They won 24. They're going to get Minnesota State, who they barely beat in the first round of the NCAA last year.
Wow.
They got everybody back, picked to win the Northern Sun. They're going to go to South Dakota and face the teams that are picked third and fourth in the Northern Sun. So it's probably the most aggressive and challenging non-conference schedule Tony Hobson's teams have ever played. And they're either going to emerge at a phenomenal place to make the NCAA before conference play even begins, or have a lot of work to do. We will see, but they're certainly going to get tested, and we'll find out real quick who they are and what they need to work on.
Did you tell Dustin he's got to come back after that Saturday game?
Well, Dustin was going to make a trip to South Dakota. Then all of a sudden, Hayes High football is way better than anybody expected. So, yeah, we're kind of
Who's going to do
well,
what?
We're still working on all of that, because there's I don't think I can plan on having you available to do a 4A state women's games when that's going to line up. We'll see. But
okay.
We're still working on everything.
Well, I'd love to go to Sioux Falls. You want
to go to Sioux Falls?
I saw Hard in concert there, but we had
really. I like Sioux Falls. I think that's a cool town.
I do too.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be there in the heart of winter, but 4 Days has played up there a couple of times. One in a region, about 3 or 4 actually. I've enjoyed it every time.
Yeah, except
it hasn't been in January though. It's either been in November or in March. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, that's true also. And then when you leave Sioux Falls, say if you stayed there that night going to Grand Forks and then realize how far you have to go yet, that was a big letdown on us. Yeah, that was a big letdown that day. So
that is still a long haul.
Tiger men, so KU scrimmaged Illinois. Hesh said something about this. So because of that scrimmage, you're not getting those exhibition games. I know Pitt State plays, I think, K-State next week, but none of those big paydays on there this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're going to see them is they'll play one, and I think that's what the Division Ones are kind of liking now, because you get a scrimmage against a D1 opponent, whoever it may be, but then you still get that home game feel and just going through the game that you don't get in a scrimmage. 4 Days isn't playing anybody this year. The women are playing K-State. So I think you might see schools do one and then use that scrimmage date. I know the Tiger men are doing a couple of close scrimmages. The women did one, and then they get this exhibition game on Monday. I think that's the trend, because you do get to face some good competition. Yeah, KU played Illinois up at Lindenwood, which is now a D1 school, which is crazy. But so I think that's what you're going to see. A lot of the D1s do. They might play one just to get that game day feel, but by and large, they're going to do the scrimmages because it's better competition and you can control it and do some different things. So, yeah, the men don't have one this year, which, Mark Johnson's happy about. He's not. He doesn't because he has to.
Gerard Wellbrock and going to Emporia, and I know I told this story a million times. It's still the best story ever. At Emporia, when we were over on the other side of the press box, the Tiger stole Corky's wings, got chased the other side. They had to pull his head off because he was going into heat stroke. And I don't even know if it's the same game. And then Hurricane Jethro came in, and the devoted Gerard Wellbrock holding the window up to keep the rain from pouring in on my stat sheet.
I don't think I have those underwear anymore, but they're still wet. And my socks. I was never so soaked in my life.
You were the broadcaster.
And that was because the press box was poorly constructed. You couldn't close the window from your own booth. You had to go to the other side. But, I took one for the team, and your chart stayed dry, and the magic marker didn't run.
Yeah, and then Bo Black was playing.
And then we ran the ball 3 times at the goal line.
Yeah, I hope that kid survived. It kind of ruined his everyone knew who he was, man, to take his head off to make sure he wouldn't have a heat stroke over there.
I'd forgotten about I'd forgotten about the mascot.
Yeah.
Scared all the kids. Oh, there's a human in there.
All right, Gerard, got to run. Great talking to you as always, my friend.
See you later.
Gerard Wellbrock, the one and only Gerard Wellbrock, here on Sports Day.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like A-STEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows that A-STEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
If you're not filling with Cenex Premium Diesel, then you're not giving your fuel system the premium treatment. Cenex Roadmaster XL comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn, while restoring your power by up to 4.5% and your fuel economy by up to 5%. Typical number 2 diesel? I guess it covers the basics. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Attention high school seniors, the time to think about that next step is right now. Get everything set up in a few hours at Barton Community College's Senior Day on November 16th. At Barton, you can take classes, transfer to a university, or enroll in a technical program entering the workforce after only one semester. Did we mention $6,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs? Sign up online at gobarton.com through November 1st to attend Senior Day.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
I like going down memory lane with Gur, you know.
I don't know him well enough I don't feel comfortable calling him Gur, so I still refer to him as Gerard. Yes.
Well, you can call him Mr. Gur.
Oh, I'll do that next time I talk to him, yes. Mr. Gur.
You know, you thought that might have been a prank, you know, and the tiger came over, and it wasn't Victor E. Tiger. This is the old one.
Right.
You know, had the nice tail, and he took the wings from Corky the Hornet, and they were mad. This was not a planned thing. Chased him all the way. It was really a hot, muggy day. That's the reason all that Hurricane Jethro came in later with the rain. And everyone thought they were kidding around, but they had to take the guy's suit off.
Wow.
I mean, he passed out.
Well,
and right down there. Wouldn't that be...
Emporia State, Fort Hays, Washburn, Pitt State, they really don't like each other.
No.
I remember when they used to throw bananas on the court at Hayes when they announced the Pittsburgh State Gorillas to the Coliseum crowd.
That's college basketball.
and then was it Bob Lowen? He was the PA announcer. The one year, all of a sudden the mic didn't work. It was amazing. For the introductions, it didn't work. My God, it worked about 3 minutes later in the game. They didn't want to introduce him because of the bananas. That was the good old days.
And again, I feel like Grandpa on the show for the best story. Frost Arena.
Oh, okay.
South Dakota
South
State.
Dakota, all right.
They're playing South Dakota. A frozen coyote came out of the student section. A frozen coyote.
All right.
You can talk about your chickens, bananas, and everything else. A frozen coyote takes the...
That could take the cake, yes, sir.
Okay, high school football tomorrow. Aaron Beck is in. Talk Panthers, Goddard Eisenhower.